You know what they say, the only thing scarier than having actual children is having children possessed by the devil. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, I hope this goes well for you. If not, adios amigos. That's my outro for some reason. Tonight I'm going to be teaming up with a website that I write for, such a lovely website called horrorbound.net. If some of you don't know, they have been doing themed weeks, and this month's theme was scary, creepy, possessed, haunted, whatever you want to call it, children. I was going to write an article for this, but I procrastinated as per usual, and the due date fell on my birthday, so I didn't get one up. So I'll talk a little bit about the movie I was going to write about in this video. Now, this is in no real particular order, and I need to specify that I did not include Regan from The Exorcist, because I assure you, you will hear about The Exorcist so much on my channel. So much. So number 10 is from one of my favorite movies of all time, Tomas from The Orphanage. If you haven't seen The Orphanage, it is one of the most gut-wrenching, devastating horror movies, but Tomas has a very important role in it and a very tragic backstory. And it's been proven time and time again that any small child wearing a burlap sack over their head, anyone really, is generally pretty creepy. Moving on to number 9, and that is Damien from The Omen. I had to throw Damien on here, but I really related to Damien when he was rolling up to the church as a small child and started screaming and crying and scratching and freaking out. But at the end of the day, he is definitely very sinister, and even goes on to be the most sinister thing ever, the president. Sick burn, Violet. Number 8 is Mimiko from the original One Missed Call. I am a big Takashi Miike fan, and this is definitely the movie that got me into him. Yeah, that's right, it was an audition, which I do love. Mimiko is one of those that you kind of understand why she's doing what she's doing. Her story is pretty dark, and I think anyone who has seen this movie can relate to the fact that once you hear that ringtone, it's pretty terrifying, and terrifying shit is gonna go down. Love the movie. If you haven't seen it, find it. Number 7. I wasn't sure what level of child started and ended, if that makes sense, but I'm going to be talking about Andrew or Adrian from Rosemary's Baby. Talk about a child that is not on screen for a long amount of time. In fact, I don't think you ever fully see him, but just his impending doom of existence is very, very haunting, and despite my feelings towards Roman Polanski, they're not good ones. I think that Rosemary's Baby is honestly a work of art, and it is a great movie. Moving right along, this was the movie that I was going to write my article about, and that is The Children. It's a British horror movie set during Christmas and New Year's time, where two families get together and bring their children to one of their houses out in the middle of nowhere to celebrate the holidays together. Unfortunately, there's some weird illness going around that causes the children to become homicidal to adults. It is so gnarly. I saw it when I was house sitting for an old friend and their family, and they had FearNet, RIP FearNet, and it was for free, and it got rated 1 star, and it turned out to be a 5-star movie in my book. I would definitely give it a watch. It is gory, it is unrelenting. Also, they just scream and cry the whole movie, and there's nothing scarier to me than that. Alright, and now we're going to be talking about Henry from The Good Son. Spoiler alert, I've never seen this movie, unfortunately, but I know one of our great writers at Horrorbound is writing about it, and it's going to make me for sure rent it this weekend. The Good Son stars Macaulay Culkin as Henry and Elijah Wood as Mark. Now, there were sweet widow babies when this movie was released. From what I've read about this movie and from what I've seen, Henry is definitely pretty sinister, especially because he makes Elijah Wood watch him kill a dog and cause a traffic pileup. He definitely deserves a spot on the list. Next, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations, and that is, of course, Isaac Kroner from Children of the Corn. I almost pronounced that Isaac Corner. Anyways, Children of the Corn is one of those movies that sticks with you from the first time you see it, or at least it did for me. I remember having not seen it since I was in like all the demon children hear me talking about them. They're trying to kill me. I rewatched Children of the Corn a couple of years ago for the first time and could not believe that opening scene was the opening scene of the movie. This movie is truly terrifying, and religious cults always kind of scare me. Religion kind of scares me. So this was no different. He's weird, he's creepy, he wears a pilgrim hat, and I don't like it one bit. I think I have a piece of cauliflower rice stuck in my throat. Number 8. You knew I was going to bring it up. This movie will probably get mentioned on my channel almost as much as The Exorcist, and that is Gage Creed from Pet Sematary. I am a pretty diehard Pet Sematary fan, and so is everyone at horrorbound.net. So I absolutely had to throw him and his little crazy, perfect, beautiful, amazing cat. Church isn't included in this. I just wanted to talk about him. Gage is very misleading. The first 3/4 of the film... sorry. But Gage starts out as very sweet, very innocent, very goofy, very wacky, until he naturally chases a kite into the middle of the road and gets hit by a giant-ass semi-truck. Gage suddenly, once brought back in the Pet Sematary, becomes a whole different child and likes to wear a green dress and traipse around and cut people's Achilles tendons. The next movie I'm going to be talking about is Joshua, and the child's name is Joshua. For those of you that haven't seen it, it stars Sam Rockwell, Vera Farmiga, and a very, very, very creepy kid. Joshua is about Vera Farmiga, that's not her name in the movie, but I forgot what it was, who gives birth to a newborn baby and is suffering postpartum depression pretty intensely, and is looking for comfort in her son Joshua, but is getting the complete opposite. He definitely has this odd essence about him, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. This is kind of an underground movie, I guess. Not many people I know have seen it. It's got a very like Hitchcockian feel to it. It's so weird, so creepy, and I just absolutely knew I had to talk about this movie during this themed week, so check that one out. And number 1, I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but whatever, is Samara or Sadako from The Ring. And Samara has that very domineering presence to her. The first time you see her hand crawl out of the well, the first time you ever, I think, get to see the tape, you know that something is in that well that you do not want to come into contact with. The colors in this movie are absolutely stunning, and the movie is truly terrifying to me to this day. I'm going to talk about some runner-ups that didn't make the list for one reason or another, and I've got to give it up to my boy Toshio from The Grudge. Toshio scares a lot of people. I'm in fact getting a grumbly face from my fiance in the background, but honestly I think he's adorable. The problem with the 2 out of 3 runner-ups is that I think they're absolutely precious and just so cute. The next up is Sam from Trick or Treat, the spirit of Halloween. How can you not think he's adorable? Even without the mask, he's still pretty dang cute. He just looks like a little pumpkin. And last but not least, there are several reasons why she didn't make this list, unfortunately, and that is Esther from Orphan. Now, if you haven't seen Orphan, I highly recommend that you either skip past this part of the video or just prepare yourself for it to be spoiled. I did not put Esther on the list because she is not a kid technically, but I will say that I really like a good horror villain when I like start yelling at the screen and like really losing my shit over their actions, and she definitely warranted that from me. She is truly creepy, even though she has a pretty like sweet and sugary exterior. But shit gets weird in this movie. That was my list. That's the thing. Please check out horrorbound.net all week, Monday through Friday, to see some really great articles from some really great writers all about spooky children. They never fail me to put a review or a discussion or something about a movie that I have never seen. Anyways, be sure to check your candy before you shove it in your dang face. And as always, adios, amigos. first time that you see the actual tape. Motherfucker.